I'm Caitlin, a former professional ballerina turned dance educator and career mentor, and this is the Brainy Ballerina podcast. I am here for the aspiring professional ballerina who wants to learn what it really takes to build a smart and sustainable career in the dance industry. I'm peeling back the curtain of the professional dance world with open and honest conversations about the realities of becoming a professional dancer. Come along to gain the knowledge and inspiration you need to succeed in a dance career on your terms. Hello and welcome to the Brainy Ballerina podcast. Caitlin here today with a solo episode chatting all about building your professional dance network. I'm sure at some points you've heard about the importance of building a strong network for your dance career, and you might be left wondering what that really means and how to do it. Today I'm going to break it down and give you some really actionable tips to help you build a network that can support you in your dance career. I can confidently say that the majority of my professional work as a dancer was solidified because of a connection I had in the room. It's so hard to see everything you need to know about a dancer in a short audition session. If you are auditioning for ballet jobs, you might go to an hour and a half ballet class, and then you might be asked to stay for repertoire, partnering to show a variation, and maybe even to have an interview with the director. But in that amount of time, it's really hard to see everything they want to know about if you're going to be a good employee. Because it's not just about how high your extension is, how many turns you can do, or even your technical ability. A lot of what is being looked for is if you will make a good employee. And the things that go into making a great employee are a lot of character traits. Are you dependable? Are you kind? Are you consistent? Do you show up? Do you take correction well? All these things that you can see a little bit within a class or an audition setting, but you're not getting the full picture. So your network is essentially those people that are going to vouch for you and say, yes, they are a great person to work with. I enjoyed working with them. I would work with them again. I would hire them again. Anything in that realm, if someone can speak up for you and say, yes, give them a chance, that's going to highly, highly up your chances of getting the job, because chances are there's going to be a lot of talented dancers in the audition space. And maybe you get to the end and they're deciding between two dancers and they don't know who to choose because you both could be great fits, but there's only one contract. Well, that person with a personal connection probably has a leg up to getting the gig. Today, I'm going to share with you the 5 B's to building your professional dance network. If you can latch on to these tips, it's going to help you immensely in your dance career. The first tip is to be genuine. Be a genuine person. Really be yourself. Show your personality. When you're meeting other dancers, choreographers, anyone in the industry, focus on building real human connections rather than just seeking opportunities. Sometimes there's a sense of approaching another person with this feeling of, what opportunity can they give to me? As opposed to, this is an interesting person that I would like to meet and get to know because we're human beings living on the planet Earth, and I think it would be cool to get to know them and ask them about their work. So here's some actionable tips to help you be more genuine in your interactions, because I know it can be a little bit daunting sometimes, especially when you're meeting somebody that you really look up to. The first tip is really just to show true interest in other people's work. Ask them about themselves. Ask them questions. People love to talk about themselves and their work and the things they're passionate about. So the more that you can ask them and generate that kind of conversation and truly learn about what they do, one, it's a much more genuine interaction. And two, you're learning about what they do on a deeper level, and you can actually, from there, have more insight onto how you could collaborate together, or if you would make a good employee for that person or colleague. So asking insightful questions is going to be a really helpful strategy for just getting to know a person on a human level, building that connection. And remember, there's not supposed to be an ulterior motive for being a kind, genuine person. It should be a baseline for how you operate in this world. The connections that I have today and the people that I work with now and how I meet people is just friendships, right? It's not that I went out of my way and targeted a person that I wanted to meet and had this ulterior motive of what knowing them or being in their circle could give back to me. Not at all. It was just me making friends, being a nice person, And then those friendships blossom and you realize, I want to work with my friends. And I've heard this before. People have this idea that it's a bad thing. People want to work with their friends. They're always hiring their friends, hiring people they know. I understand how that can be frustrating, but if you think about it, doesn't it make sense? If you have people in your network, people that you know that you like to work with, who do great work, who are reliable, and who you enjoy being around, wouldn't you keep giving them more work? I don't think it's such a negative that people want to work with people they know and who are essentially their friends. So if you want to get more work, make more friends. And I'm not saying that you have to be friends with everyone or that you have to go out there and be a complete social butterfly. Not at all. I'm a very big introvert. I need my space. I need my time to decompress. I think a lot of dancers are like that. And not every connection has to be your closest, dearest friends. We have different kinds of people in our lives, people that you meet while you're just in a class and you stand next to each other at bar and you get to chatting after class and exchange Instagram handles. It can be as simple as that. And then if something comes up and you need someone for a project, you think of them to reach out for them because you've now made this connection. It doesn't have to be that deep or your best, closest friends, but even just having these acquaintances that you meet and that you're kind to and that you have a reputation for being genuine makes a difference. So that's the first B, be genuine. The second B is pretty similar, be kind, be a nice person to work with. I'm not saying to be a wallflower or to be a pushover or to be okay with unsafe working conditions or being treated poorly or not having boundaries. And in my opinion, having boundaries is actually one of the most kind things you can do because it sets expectations. And people really thrive on clear expectations. I've learned that as a teacher. I've learned that as a parent. And I've learned that just in my general life, that we all like to know what to expect when we're interacting with other people. So someone telling us their boundaries and what they're okay with and what they're not okay with is kind. Sometimes we hear be kind and we think that you have to just lay down and let people do whatever they want. That's not at all what I'm saying. You can be kind and also assertive. You can be kind and speak your mind. You can do all of these things in a professional way. What it comes down to for me is I want to be the kind of person that people enjoy working with and want to have around. People want to have around somebody who is nice to them, who makes them feel good, who does good work, and who is willing to stand up for themselves and others in situations when things are not as they should be. Being kind can mean a lot of different things, but ultimately, be someone that you'd want to be around, and you will get a lot more work and you will build your network. The third B is be in the community. If you want to meet people, if you want to build your network, you have to get out there into the community and do things. I hear from dancers sometimes who say they're not getting opportunities, and I ask them, what have you been doing? And a lot of times, not much. Not every single job comes from an audition. Sure, a lot of them do, and you do have to go to auditions. And I talk about that a lot on this podcast and in all of my work. Absolutely. But jobs come from other places. Maybe you take a class at an open studio and you meet somebody who's looking for a freelance artist and they see you dance and they invite you to be part of their project. Maybe you go to a performance and you meet someone. Maybe you go to a competition. Maybe you attend a networking event. All of these different things add up to being in the community and being someone that people remember. And tell people that you're looking for work. Tell people what you want to do. Say it out loud. When you are in the community, when you are attending events, be very vocal about what you want to do, what you're available for, because then people can think of you for those projects. They might not know that you want to perform. They might not know that you have availability or that your current contract is ending and you're looking for something else. They may have no idea. First of all, you have to know what you want and what you're going for. And once you know that, then tell people, say it out loud, be vocal. Don't assume that people know what you need or what you want. You have to ask. And I know asking for help is the worst. We all hate it. I hate it. I don't want to ask for help. I want help. I need help. I don't want to ask for it. I want people to read my mind and know what I need and then offer that up to me. Wouldn't that be great? Unfortunately, that's not how it works. You have to say what you need, what you want. Give actionable items to people. Just like I'm giving to you right now, I'm giving you action steps of things to do. You have to do that to other people for them to be able to take that action. So be in the community and be vocal about what you need and what you are wanting to do with your career. The fourth B is to be collaborative. If you feel like you're not getting a lot of opportunities, create them yourself. And you don't always have to collaborate with someone else in order to create something for yourself, but it sure helps to have a buddy or to have a partner to work with for that accountability, for that creative spark. So this could look something like maybe you have a performance idea that you really want to put together and you have some other friends who aren't doing much right now. And you're like, hey, let's get together and rent a studio and put together this performance. And it doesn't have to be as big as a whole performance. It could just be like, let's get in the studio and work on some choreography together. Or let's even just take turns teaching each other a class every week so we make sure we get in the studio. I collaborate so often with people in this dance world, and sometimes I have an idea for something that I want to do, but I just don't see how I'm going to make it happen, what the path is, or I just know that I need a buddy because there's things that you just aren't going to think of on your own, right? We're stronger together. Our ideas are better together. And again, there's this idea in the dance world that we all need to be so independent and it's so tooth and nail and we're all fighting for the same jobs and it almost sets us up to have this kind of shield up around other people. Like if I tell them what I want to do, will they steal that idea from me? Maybe, but no one could do it like you do. They could never take your idea and do the same thing you were going to do with it. So it doesn't matter. And if you have someone that you trust that you want to collaborate with, that should be a non-issue, right? Have I been burned by collaborations before? Yeah, I have, and I have learned from them. So my biggest piece of advice, if you do want to collaborate with another person, would be to, again, set really clear expectations for the work you're going to do, the commitment you're making to each other, and clear parameters, time, space, money, energy. What are you expecting from them and what are they expecting in return? Because if you're not on the same page, if you're taking this collaboration very, very seriously and they're just kind of like, that could be fun as a kind of a side thing, but I'm not that focused on it, then you do have different expectations and you might end up clashing over those differing expectations. So get really clear and you might actually be okay with the other person not being on the same level as you. Like maybe you're like, I'll take lead on this project. If you can come in and just do a little bit, I just need a tiny bit of support. So like I can do 80%, you do 20%. That could be fine as long as you're clear about that from the start. If you go into a project collaboratively expecting 50-50, and that's not what happens, that's when issues start to happen. So it all comes back down to expectations, communication. Don't assume that people know what you're thinking, what you want. You have to say it out loud. The last V is to be professional. Show up prepared. Show up on time. Come with an open-minded attitude. Be willing to try things. Have a growth mindset. All of these things make you a professional in the dance world. And professionals want to work with other professionals. We don't want to have to worry about if you're going to show up, if you're going to be ready to rehearse that day. Of course, everyone has bad days, has off days. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what you do 95% of the time. When you are dependable, you are creating a sense of trust that makes people want to work with you again and again. And that's going to naturally grow your professional network. You need to prove to other people that you are trustworthy and also prove it to yourself. Prove that you show up when you say you're going to. Prove that you do the things you're going to. I do that for myself all the time, and I have to do that very intentionally running a one-woman business because there's not a lot of accountability from other people. Of course, I have my clients who I am always going to show up for, so that is a level of accountability that I have for them. But beyond that, just as a general business structure, I don't have a co-owner. I don't have a boss. I have to be accountable to myself. And there are days when I don't want to do the things I have to do. Like today, I like to list down my top 3 things that I want to do for the day. So my top 3 things that I felt like if I can get these things done today, that would be great, were to meal plan and go to the grocery store, do a strength training workout, and record this podcast episode. And I had a block of time that I'm currently sitting in right now recording this episode. And when it came to that block of time, I did not really feel like sitting down and doing this episode. I'm just being totally honest. I wanted to go outside. I wanted to go for a walk. I wanted to do something else. And those are great things to do. And I really do need to get outside and go for a walk. So I'm putting that on my top 3 things to do tomorrow. But today, this was my third thing that I needed to get done. And I need to show up for myself, and I need to prove to myself that I'm going to do the things I say I'm going to do. Because if I don't do that for myself, if I don't prove to myself that I'm trustworthy, why is anyone else going to believe that I'm trustworthy? What you think about yourself matters ultimately way more than what anyone else thinks about you. Prove to yourself that you are the person you want to be, and that will start showing up to the outside world as well. So to recap these 5 V's that are going to help you build a strong professional network of people who are going to want to work with you: be genuine, be kind, be in the community, be collaborative, and be professional. And ultimately, remember that networking is about building mutually beneficial relationships. Focus on what you can give as much as you can gain. If you're always taking from other people and never giving back, they're going to get frustrated. They're not going to want to keep working with you the same way. This dance world is small. We need each other. Artists need each other to thrive. So the next time a gig comes up that you can't do, give someone else's name you think would be a great fit. The next time you think of a project that you want to work on but you don't want to do it alone, who could you ask to do it with you? Next time you need advice about something, who could you reach out to for some advice? And it can be as simple as just DMing someone on Instagram, right? Like, I've built so many connections through just reaching out to somebody who I admire on the online space and saying, hey, I love your work. I admire your work. I think what you're doing is amazing. Can you tell me more about it? Or I'd love to talk to you on my podcast about it. I want to spread your work to other people. I think it's so cool. I feel so blessed that I have a platform now that I'm able to build my network and share other people's stories. And one of my big things for my podcast is that I love to ask my guests, hey, who else do you think would be a great fit for my podcast? Do you know anyone that you could recommend? Because that's how my network grows. That's how I get to meet more people and build more meaningful connections and hear more stories and ultimately create this gorgeous library of people's stories that I'm able to share. And that's really, really special to me. I'm so thankful for the people I've met and the experiences I've had through this career. And I wouldn't have had them if I wasn't open to forming human relationships, making true friendships with people that I've met. And again, the dance world gets this reputation for being so cutthroat, but 99% of the people that I've met in the dance world are so, so kind and so willing to help and so open with sharing their experiences, because we all know how hard it is. We've been there, and we want to help other people thrive in this industry because we love dance. We want to see it survive, and we need to keep fueling the future dancers of this art form. So remember that people are just people. Just go out there, be genuine, be kind, and watch your network flourish. Thank you for tuning in to the Brainy Ballerina podcast. If you found this episode insightful, entertaining, or maybe a bit of both, I would so appreciate you taking a moment to leave a rating and hit subscribe. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll join our community of dancers passionate about building a smart and sustainable career in the dance industry. Plus, your ratings help others discover the show too. I'll be back with a new episode next week. In the meantime, be sure to follow along on Instagram at The Brainy Ballerina for your daily dose of dance career guidance.